Okay, welcome to the Monday, February 7th meeting of the Lunenburg Municipal Building Design Committee. And we will open with a few remarks this evening. In accordance with the requirements of the open meeting law, please be advised that this meeting is being recorded and broadcast over the Lunenburg Public Access Channel. The town of Lunenburg, in response to COVID-19, is currently following the guidance from the Lunenburg Board of Health, Massachusetts Department of Public Health, and the CDC regarding the virus and the steps communities can take to prevent the spread. In accordance with the governor's order suspending certain provisions of the open meeting law, this public meeting is being conducted remotely. This meeting will be recorded and be able to be found on the Lunenburg Access YouTube channel within 24 hours after the meeting. The following information is also provided for members of the public that would like to participate in the meeting remotely. To participate remotely from a computer, please use the link that was provided in the published agenda, or from a telephone, dial the toll-free number 888-475-4499 and enter the webinar ID 766-316-7607. The agenda lists all topics which may be discussed at the meeting and are those reasonably anticipated by the chair. Votes may be taken as a result of these discussions. Not all items listed may in fact be discussed, and other items not listed may also be brought up for discussion to the extent permitted by open meeting law. Okay. So it is 5:37. We will officially call the meeting to order. Then I'll take a roll call here just to make sure everybody's on and can hear. Dave Blatt.
Present.
Brian Leighton.
Yes.
Matthew Allison.
Yeah, I'm here.
Christina.
Present.
Okay. And I, of course, am here, and I assume everybody can hear me because you answered to my voice. So, okay, is there any public comment from the public? Okay. Is there any public comment from the committee?
Yeah,
Go ahead, Matt.
I didn't quite finish watching the last meeting just before we started this meeting, but I've got some comment on the last meeting. I'd really like to wait until at least Michael Ray's here. And I'm disappointed that the new appointment from FinCom's not going to be here for the reorganization. I'm also not sure whether the appointee or the appointing people were planning on him not being appointed in this group. I wasn't clear on that, but
What do you mean by, I don't know what you mean by that second part.
so Mr. Beardmore is a new member.
Right.
And I don't know if it was Mr. Beardmore's intention not to be appointed to any, or if it was.
Oh, yeah. I think it was mutual understanding.
Okay, well, a little weird. Anyways, so I'm gonna hold off till maybe the end.
Okay. So I do want to say that a couple things, I guess. First, as Matt just indicated, Peter Beardmore has been appointed to this committee as the Finance Committee representative by the Finance Committee. That happened last week. So we welcome Peter to the committee. Peter had a previous commitment for this evening, so he is not going to be able to make it this evening, but he is our newest FinCom representative, and he is excited to get rolling in the future. He did send me an email to that effect earlier today, or I guess last night. And then I'd be remiss if I didn't say that, of course, Peter's appointment to the committee from Finance Committee is a replacement of Dave Passios, who's been on the committee since the beginning for 2.5 years. And I just wanted to publicly thank Dave for all of his effort that he put forth over the past 2.5 years, and all of his input that he put into it. I know he thinks a lot about these things, not just this issue, but town issues as a whole. And he's always available at lots of different board meetings that he has himself. Whether or not he's on the board meeting, the particular board or not, he's always there to provide his insight. And so I wanted to thank him for that. Thank him for his service over the past 2.5 years with this board. So, again, I do anticipate Michael Ray, although I did text him and he hasn't texted me back here, so maybe he is tied up. I'm not sure exactly what his deal is, but so I do have on the agenda this evening committee reorganization, but I will wait on that until we have Michael Ray here, at least. So I think what I will do is take a few things out of order, and I will move to agenda item 4, which is to review and approve minutes. Megan, who is on the call this evening as well, has sent us several minutes from, she sent us minutes from October 20th, 2021, November 3rd, November 10th, and also October 13th. So let's just take, and she did email them out last night, it looks like. Did folks have a chance to review those, or should we take a few minutes and just review them, or we'll take them one by one and people can,
I don't think I got them.
Okay.
They came from M. Lorden at Lunenburg Online.
Yeah, you were on there, but I'll forward them to you. Let me do that real quick here. Bear with me. I just resent Christina, so. So we can take our time on these. So I'll start with October 13th. And just for everybody's recollection, this is a while ago. So the members present were myself, Dave Blatt, Michael Ray Jeffries, Brian Leighton, Dave Passios, Matt Allison, and Christina. I can't pronounce your last name.
Keep waiting for you to say it. It's mastitis. It's okay. I know it's impossible.
Mastitis. Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'm trying to remember that. I did get Brian's, so now I see his.
I was going to say, but Christina, you didn't get to pick it, huh?
No, my maiden name's a lot easier. It was Brooks. Should have stuck with that.
Okay.
So is there any comments, or if there's not, I'm happy to take a motion.
So I'm sorry, which one are you doing first?
October 13th, 10/13/2021.
Gotcha. Well,
It's the last one of the attachment. I'm just going in
gotcha.
alpha. I'm
Okay.
going in chronological order.
All right. I'll make a motion that we approve.
I'll second that.
Okay, any comments? All right.
Thank you,
roll call
Megan.
vote.
Thank you for making.
Say it again.
I was going to say, thank you, Megan, for putting them together.
Yeah, thank you. Roll call on this. Dave,
Yes.
Brian,
Aye.
Matthew,
Aye.
Christina,
Aye.
and an aye from me. Super. Next up will be October 20th.
This one I know I'm not on.
Yep, Matt and Dave were not present.
Just for a point of order, it's understood now that you don't have to be present to approve the meeting. the minutes.
I
Oh,
think that
okay.
is, I think that is true. Yeah.
All right, I'll make the motion again. We approve.
Second that motion.
Okay, any comment? Okay, so given Matt's insight there, we'll poll everybody. Dave,
Yes.
Brian,
Aye.
Matt,
Aye.
Christina,
Aye.
an aye for me. Okay.
You want to just do the last two together?
We can do the last
Yeah.
two together? Go ahead.
Make a motion, we approve.
I'll second that motion.
And just for the record, that's November 3rd and November 10th. So your motion includes approval of November 3rd and November 10th?
Yes. And it was
Okay.
second. Yeah.
Okay. Any discussion? Okay, roll call vote. Dave,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Matt,
Aye.
Christina,
Aye.
and an aye for me. Okay, cool. So, well, let's just roll through some of this other stuff. Does anybody have any correspondence to and from the committee?
No, but may I make a suggestion?
Go ahead.
And a possible motion. Would a start time of 6 o'clock work for everybody, since it apparently doesn't work for Mr. Jeffries, who is looking to be the chair? If so, I would make a motion.
Yeah, I remember him saying that, and then I remember that when we switched to Monday, I thought he was clear at 5:30, but maybe I misunderstood that.
I think he was saying like 5:30 still tight, but I think Monday works better. Were we at 5 or 6 on Wednesdays?
We were at 5:30. So, yeah, what we could do, that's fine with me. It's fine with me. Doesn't really matter to me.
I may be preempting or jumping the gun or something, but
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. Yeah, I mean, we could just, I don't know, my suggestion is just to talk about that once we solidify future meeting, when we get to the future meeting schedule part here, but that's a good, I mean, we did talk about that last time. I just thought that we had, maybe I didn't remember it correctly. So the substantive things on the agenda are committee reorganization, and then after that, I was hoping to reorganize and then get into and let the new chair kind of preside over the discussion and planning moving forward item. So we can do a couple things. We can reorganize tonight anyway, even though we're missing currently 2 members, one of which had indicated that he was interested in becoming the chairperson. Or we could wait and schedule another meeting and do it at a time when we can all hopefully be there. I'm open to hear what you guys think.
Would it be a lot of, would it be a big issue for you to reschedule and be chair for potentially one more meeting just to hopefully get everybody? Or would you rather have it reorganized today to have it over with?
Well, yeah, I was hoping we were going to reorganize tonight so we can kind of, and I mean, it's not to say we can't discuss and plan, but I was really hoping to have that next stage here be under the new chairperson. But we
So-
could, I'm happy to open another, if we wanted to kick those things down the road for a couple weeks, I'm happy to reopen the, to advertise and open another meeting. That's fine. I just, I'm happy to do it, whatever people think is most appropriate. I think it would be good to have a full board. I mean, to Matt's point, I think it would be good to have a full board to reorganize. Go ahead, Brian.
It's my opinion, because Peter didn't seem interested in a position, leadership, whatever position. My thought would be, let's reorganize. I know Michael, we all know Michael was interested in the chair, and I think we could continue the meeting of having the vice chair take the meeting.
Okay, it's true.
That's my opinion.
That's fine. Any other thoughts? Matt, did you want to weigh in?
No, I was reluctant to suggest that very same thing at the beginning, but that we wait. However, I do understand that you and Dave have different boards than the rest of us, so to report to. As far as your eagerness
Well,
to get it
yeah.
done.
Yeah.
So let's do it. I mean, I think we all kind of came to a consensus around
fine.
it last meeting. So why don't we just vote and then either decide if we want to continue the discussion or wait till later down the road, but at least we can reorganize today.
Okay, that's fine. I really don't think it's in question here unless, so. Okay, well, we'll just do one at a time. We'll do chair first, and then we'll do vice chair, and then we'll do clerk. So I will accept a nomination for the chair.
Nominate Michael Ray Jeffries, the chair.
Okay, is there a second?
I'll second. Yeah, you stole Dave's thunder. You nominated him last meeting.
That's true.
That's all right. I gotta let somebody nominate something, make a motion for something else. Yeah.
That's true. All right, is there any discussion on that nomination? Again, for the record, for folks that are listening in here in this meeting and didn't, and are wondering why we're nominating someone that isn't at the meeting this evening. Michael Ray had expressed an interest in 2 weeks ago or a week and a half ago when we met to be the chair moving forward. So that's why we're proceeding with that motion, nomination, and second this evening. So anybody else, any other discussion? All right, we'll do a roll call vote. Dave?
I'm sorry. The
Go ahead.
point of order, you should ask if there are any other nominations.
All right, thank you.
I
Are there any
believe.
other nominations?
I think that was the motion where everybody's stepping back a step,
No, thanks, Matt. I appreciate
No
that.
problem.
Okay, I think we're ready for a vote on this. Dave,
Yes, affirmative.
Brian,
Aye.
Matt,
Aye.
Christina,
Aye.
an aye from me. Okay, I will accept a nomination for the vice chair.
So let me rephrase that, if you don't mind, Mr. Chair. Is
Sure.
there anybody who's interested in the position? I will gladly relinquish if there is.
Well, it's really not a big deal. You're basically just filling in for the chair if they're not there, and otherwise it's meaningless.
I know.
But if we don't
PowerPoints are not
change the start
mandatory.
time, if we don't change the start time, then you may be busier than you think.
Yeah. Oh, I think we just, to that point, I think we just need to change it because it seems like it's too early for folks, so that's fine. Well, I'll make a motion. I'll make a motion to nominate Dave Blatt for the vice chair.
I'll second that motion.
Okay. Are there any other nominations?
So I'll give a discussion is that if and when I'm finally allowed to travel. I can't always guarantee my availability. The Zoom meetings are easier. However, if we're going to go back to in person, I'm looking forward to a time when I'm actually on the road again. Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
I'm fine with it. I just as a point of order on the thing. So, and I don't usually know my travel till 2 weeks before the meeting at best. So if everybody's
All right,
okay with that, I'll keep my mouth shut and let you vote.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's something we'll just have to take up if it starts getting, if it starts to be lots of conflicts or something. So we'll talk, I'll ask that question afterwards. So is there another nomination? Okay, any other discussion on this? All right, I think we're ready for a vote. Roll call vote. Dave.
I'm going to abstain on this one.
All right. Brian,
Aye.
Matt,
Aye.
Christina,
Aye.
an aye from me. For the record, it's 4 affirmative and 1 abstention. I will now accept nominations for the clerk position. And again, now that we have a minutes clerk, this is a little bit less of a lot less work. So.
I would nominate Brian Leighton for clerk.
Okay, is there a second?
I second.
Okay, are there any other nominations? Nobody speaking once. Any discussion on that? All right, roll call vote. Dave,
Aye.
Brian,
I'll abstain.
Matt,
Aye.
Christina,
Aye.
and an aye for me. So for the record, 4 affirmative and 1 abstention. So the new chairperson will be Michael Ray Jeffries. The new vice chair, well, continuing on vice chair, will be Dave Blatt, and the new and continuing clerk will be Brian Leighton. Thank you for that. Now what?
We turn it over to Dave.
I think I got to turn it over to you, Dave. So I'll turn it over to you.
All right, Greg. Thank you. We appreciate your years of service. How's that for you? Okay.
Definitely.
Thank you.
All that stuff. So how much of a discussion do you guys feel we should be able to do at this point or not? I'd like to actually go, if I could, let me go around the room and just kind of ask folks what their next, what are they looking at as far as their original thoughts of how we proceed forward with this thing? Because I know we had some discussion, in other words, continued discussion we started last week a little bit, because I'm trying to understand, the best way to proceed as we go forward with this thing. So, Greg, I'll put you on the spot first. Since you're not the chair anymore, you can actually be completely honest now and not have to worry about politically correct.
Oh yeah, is that true? Yeah. So I think that the very first thing in the charge relates to a priority list of uses. So I think, and I know we did this back in, a couple of years ago when we were considering groups in town that wanted to go into the TCP building, but I think that we should relook at that. I think that there should be some time spent on sort of reopening that file, pulling out all the proposed uses, putting them up on the table, and just going down and doing a real clear ranking, because I think we did it. It's probably reflected in some meeting minutes, but I think that we need to probably produce a document of ranked uses and how they, what the ranked, what's the word I'm looking for? I think the select board's charge to us is to rank them by importance, if I'm not mistaken. So that to me is step one. And then I think and then where we go from there, my head's still spinning a little bit here. I guess for me, I think we focus on, I think we're going to find after we do that the priority is going to be town hall uses, trying to get new or renovated consolidated spaces for town hall uses. And I really think there's got to be a way to put those in the TCP building in a far cheaper manner than a $40 million or a $30 million renovation project. I think that renovating that entire building like we were proposing tripped us into all kinds of additional building codes like seismic loading and fire protection and all kinds of things like that, that if we rethink and we renovate less than, maybe it's 50%, I can't remember, of the building, we might be able to come way under that and just do some real basic modifications of one of the wings or something like that to get it to get some space that's usable. And again, this is just me king for the day kind of analysis. And then and I guess somewhere along the line, then we have to think about the other buildings and how they might be reappropriated for some of the other uses down in the hierarchical checklist that we establish. And then I think we have to clearly determine what services we're going to need from an architect. Because whatever we figure out as a group for our recommendations for moving forward, then we're going to have to assign costs to them. And I think it's at that point where we're going to need help from professionals to do that. So I don't know if any of that helps.
Yeah, no, it's perfect. That's exactly just the ideas. Okay, perfect. All right, Brian, I'll put you on the spot.
Yeah, I think it was, I agree with Greg, very similar ideas. I think going back to that prioritization list, but I think we're going to have to be more detailed now. I think breaking it up, because I think we only had maybe 8 or 9, but I think it's going to really be a very detailed prioritization. Maybe it's like, meeting room 5 is in this part of the prioritization list. And I think it's every meeting list is going to be in that prioritization list, because I don't know if we're going to be able to keep them all now at this point. I did write down that building code, that level 3 reno, that definitely increased a lot of prices. So I think going back to that, even maybe the minutes on that and the explanation on that, if we can get through that less than 50%, then we can get kind of creative with that. And I think it also comes back to going back to those department heads, whether it's the superintendent, the cable, talking to Steve too about this stuff of like, is there different spaces in the town that are possibly that could work for renovations for that space? Is it that we could assign some space in TCP but not renovate it? And then I know cable had some funding that maybe they could even look into funding that after the renovation's done, but that space is still there that they could use. So just getting kind of creative. The modular type offices with like cubicle type walls, researching that. Maybe there's less renovation in that because we don't have to tear down as many walls. Yeah, and I think, again, going back, like Greg said, finishing it up with talking to the professionals, but also I think it's going to be different scenarios. Like we come up with that prioritization list, but maybe different scenarios of ideas of who's going to go into the old town hall or who's going to go into the Ritter and come up with possibilities. But I think talking to the department heads could help. in that regards, and the town manager too.
Excellent. All right, thanks, Brian. Christina?
So just kind of echoing what they said, going on to what Brian said about the PAC, I think it's also important to realize what other, I know in TCP, I think there were some school services that are paying rent to be there. So I think that would be important to distinguish like what the town's funding and what's paying to be there. And then like, what would that mean for putting them in a new building or a building like the Ritter where their rent could essentially pay to keep the building up. So I think that's something we also need to consider. And just, I think we can't come up with, I know we said this before, we can't come up with one design. Like we need to come up with options, but the problem with options, I guess, is when we bring this to town, are we, like, I'd like to have a deadline because I think before we kind of flip-flopped on it, like, obviously we're not going to next town meeting, but is it 2 town meetings out, we go out and ask for funding? Because I think that would better structure us meeting wise in the future of where we're headed and not getting into the aggressive, like once a week meeting, 2 months leading up. And then the only other thing I know it was brought up last time is like looking outside of the buildings we have and potential lots. So there's like a few big lots, like they said, like across the street or like across from the police station, or even looking at like Chapdelaine, like what would it mean moving to one of these spaces that aren't in use, that have a big lot and could accommodate the parking. So I think it's important to also go down that, because maybe we put a new town hall there, but we open up space for things that were lower on the priority list to now have a building between the Ritter, the town hall, the Brooks, and what other buildings might be there.
Okay. Excellent. Thanks, Christina. Matthew?
Yeah, no, and I can't disagree with anything that anybody said at all, but I would like to bring up something, well, Dave Pastios brought it up at the last meeting, and like to follow up with it, is that this basically is the new building reuse committee. And what I would like to start looking at is stuff that we've already spent money on. We've got a TAPE study, which was a building assessment and space needs study for the Pastios, the town hall, old primary, and the Ritter building, done on 1/11/16, so 2016. Then we had the Vertex report, which was 114 pages, and those page numbers were to the PDF that I found online on the website. The Vertex was done in 2/6/18. It was a property condition assessment of the TCP only. And that property assessment is less than, well, it's about 3 years old right now. And it had rated the building structure in good condition. It had 4 or 5 others in good condition. And at our last meeting, Mr. Jeffries himself said that the town doesn't want to spend $1 million to replace the roof. So we're looking at tearing it down. How much sense does that make? If we need a new roof on the TC Pastios to stop the bleeding, why don't we suggest that? I mean, that's just common sense, basic practicality. If we've got a building, and again, so the building reuse committee started in 2013, in July 2013, and it went on through 17, so 5 years. It started out as 9 members. Over the course of a period of time, it ended up at 6 members. There was probably a total of 20 people involved in that. I'm the 3rd newest member to this group, I believe. And this group started out and still at 7, but we've probably already gone through 10, 12, at least different members.
Mhm.
To Dave Pastios' point at the last meeting, we need to set some short-term goals that are accomplishable in the period of time that the people involved are going to stay involved. Just my opinion. The people at all the groups change. And I've been involved in planning board since 2012. So before about the same time that the building reuse committee has been involved, came in. There's been a whole bunch of different people involved. Some notorious, some popular, some not popular, some not notorious. you get names, you get faces, you get certain ideas, ideals. I think we need to find out how least expensive we can reoccupy these buildings and make use of a roof over our head to get some use out of the buildings that we have. We could have abated 12 years ago, 15 years ago, we could have abated almost all these buildings for the cost that we spent on architects and engineers to tell us what we should do with our town. It makes no sense to me. Why don't we just suggest that we bite the bullet right now, spend $2 million on the roof and whatever else the TC Passios needs to be able to use it. We're already using it. So honestly, what's the problem of using the whole building? Is there a problem? I'm not quite sure there is, except for asbestos. So all these all these dreams of all these big expansive buildings in Lunenburg, we've got them, we had them, we built them. Let's keep them going. Let's not just spin our wheels and talk and pay architects and engineers and conceptual designers more and more money. As a taxpayer myself, I would really like to stop the bleeding, quite honestly. So if we can just get the TAP-A study, the Vertex report, and all the documents and assessments and evaluations and suggestions and itemizations that we've gone through in the last 2 years with this group, then maybe the renamed group can move forward with a really good solid foundation and a solid understanding of what it is that we have, what it is that we need, and what it is that we want.
Okay, excellent. Thanks, man. Okay, so I'll give on my side. I look at it as that the studies that were done are excellent. It gave us a good feel for the building. I agree with everybody when we went from, when we passed that magic number of 50%, it screwed up everything because then the cost went to ridiculous. The other thing that we forgot was one of the things that our buddy, Mr. Rogers, came in, one of the original meetings that we had for us folks that were way back when, and he says, you should do cubicles because this way you can move walls around and the rooms can move. And it was one of the things that we didn't do. We didn't do that, and shame on us, but I'm not sure how much different that could have been other than if we didn't change things. The other side of it is I strongly believe that unless there is a discussion about what we're leaving behind, if we go to Passios solely, then anything we propose is going to have trouble. So I'd almost like I like the idea of proposing options for the town based on, all something or a stepped approach into this thing. So like one of my feelings is when I added up the square feet that are missing from the Ritter building. So if I move Town Hall and put a annex to the Ritter, built another building to look like the Ritter, I would need 4,000 square feet. And that's it. I'm building a say 6,000 square foot building on the same property as the Ritter and keeping that one historical building as a town hall and town offices type of thing. I know that doesn't affect the rest of it, but then again, maybe that's the idea, is Passio stays with the schools and the schools can do what they want with it. And we figure out, and then the only building that's left is town hall. And, maybe we work something out for that. But anyway, just an idea. I think we need to look at, this presenting several options. And I do like the idea that we definitely want a time limit on this. So quick discussion on time limit. I'm proposing fall town meeting to have this done. Because spring town meeting is too quick and waiting another spring is too long. So, my proposal is that we put a deadline of fall town meeting. Okay, I got a couple of hands up. Brian, I'll go for you first since you're first. You got a picture up there.
I definitely agree. We definitely need a timeline. I had thrown it out there earlier at another meeting about getting the Springtown meeting a survey, where I think we could be potentially able to do that, where we have some ideas. We survey the the citizens, similar to how they did it about the old primary school property. What do you want to see here? And I think we could do that with some of the scenarios that we come up with, and then that can narrow it down a little bit so that we can come back with, say, 2 options and have them vote at a, say, fall town meeting or the following spring.
Okay, Christina, yeah.
So I guess my question is, I know it was kind of discussed last meeting and I didn't really understand it. So at Springtown meeting, we were doing nothing, but was there talk of us getting money for potentially an architect for the fall town meeting? Because the one thing that I'm afraid of is we have like these great ideas, like what you just said. And, you know, maybe we can sit down with the chairs and say, do you really need 2,000 square feet, or can we cut it down and really reduce that 4,000 or 6,000? But like, these are great ideas. And I know we have the TAPE study and the Vertex study and all these studies that were done. And I'm not continuing to try to pay for architects, but I would like to, you know, present an idea that's actually feasible at fall meeting. So I'd rather, like, it's great to have these ideas and like these theories that we're coming up with. And I know we're all in a different place after town meeting, but are we going to go to fall town meeting looking for funding for things, or are we going to have funding by there?
Okay. All right, Greg, I see the hand up.
So in my opinion, in response to Christina, that I think Springtown meeting is too soon to ask for money. I think that we should come up with a plan. Maybe it has options, but I think when we ask for more money from town meeting, we need to have a very thought out program. Like, at least I think we have enough resources in town. Some on this committee, others maybe elsewhere in town, where we can at least assess the magnitude of options that we're proposing. So I think that we can say to the town, I think we need to be in a position to say things like, this option would represent what we believe is the cheapest option for achieving the goals that, you know, for achieving the space needs that we have. This option will be slightly more, will be the next most expensive option. And then we can go and we can ask for funding if we need to, because they'll know what they're, you know, I really think that I think several of us have said the same thing. I don't think we can go back in there and ask them for more money to study things unless we have a really clear plan that at least in principle, the majority of people can get behind. You know, I just don't see people having an appetite for a big, long, drawn out study like TAPE did, for example, where they priced out like 3 or 4 different options. I think we have to use, I think to everybody else's point, I think we have good information in those reports. Combine that with expertise that we have on this committee and probably elsewhere in town that we can solicit. I think we can come up with a plan that at least communicates rough order of magnitude costs before we go and ask. And I just think that 3 months is going to be, I don't even know when the warrant closes, but it's probably in a month or something. You know, it's probably not that quick. It's probably not that far away for spring. I just think, I like Brian's idea of the survey. I think that in 3 months, we could probably come up with some options that we could put on a survey. And then poll the audience somehow. So that's it. That's just my 2 cents.
Okay. All right. Christina, I still have the hand on you. Is that new or same?
No, I'd had a question, but I'm gonna wait. I think I'm saying the same thing as Brian, but it's just not coming out right. But I guess my question is, say we do poll at Springtown meeting, and then we hopefully get funding at fall. Would we actually go back in spring with what we have, or would we take what we got in fall and be able to move forward? If that makes sense.
So my feeling is that the survey in the spring will give us an idea of people's, you know, getting thoughts from the community, or at least the 100 people who show up for town meeting. and at least getting their opinions, which is our voting, body. And that in the fall, if we're presenting a couple of options or three, 2, 3, whatever the number of options there are, that at the end of fall meeting, we'd be asking for some kind of vote, or whether it's a survey vote or whatever we do. And then we would be having a clear direction of where things could go. I think we do have a decent number on cost of what for building new versus renovation. And, perhaps I'm in the inclination of nothing's getting cheaper. So, either we propose something and start something, or every time we do this, it's going to be sticker shock every time we walk up there in front of town meeting. Greg, you got your hand up?
So I almost think like we need I almost think like we need a flow chart analysis, right?
Yeah.
Or something like that, where, we can go down and kind of map out what the different options are and how they flow to different things. And I think there's going to be a lot of interdependencies. And I think there's probably going to be some things that'll pop out as things we could do now that need to be done in any alternative or most of the alternatives. For instance, as Matt said, abating the asbestos. Even if you're in the camp that says someday the school's going to need this building because they're going to need to build they're going to need this space to build a new, the replacement for Turkey Hill on it, we'd still have to abate the asbestos before it's demolished. So maybe we go. So my point is, when we go to town meeting, we're probably not going to ask for, we might not ask for funding for a complete project. We might ask for 1 or 2 or 3 sub projects that we know we can get people behind, because they constitute like a first step for many of the options, right? So that's just my 2 cents. I think that we need to be, when we ask for money, we need to be sure that, I mean, they may say no, but I think we need to have done the analysis that says these things make sense for this reason, and ask for those to kind of move us forward. So, I don't think that when we ask, I guess what I wanted to say is, I don't think that when we go to town meeting, I don't think we're necessarily going to be asking for a complete design package for the whole process. I think this is what this is going to emerge into, is more of a step-by-step approach. We'll do A, and that opens up the ability to do B, and then C, and then D, and then maybe we don't want to do A, B, C, and D at once. Maybe we just want to do A, which, so that's my thought on that.
Okay. All right. Matthew? Matt?
Yeah. So yeah, just to follow up, the asbestos abatement, it's got nothing but go up, and you have to abate it if you're going to knock it down or you're going to reuse it. And my understanding is they're not a whole lot different in cost. It's my understanding. I certainly could be wrong. But what I would ask of this group is, the next time we go to town meeting for an ask of money, that it's not for more studies, that it's for an action, that we're actually doing something. We're getting something done. That's my suggestion. And also a follow on, fall town meetings aren't a guarantee. They practically have been recently, but we don't have an annual. We only have one annual, and the special, which is what fall town meeting is, a special town meeting, is more money. However, I am for changing our charter and having 2 annual town meetings. That, again, I think the next ask should be for an action item rather than more studies. That's
okay. All right. So I have to agree with you that the ask is for action items. I think we have a good feeling for things. And as I said, whether the fall town meeting happens or not, I'd rather us be prepared as a goal to hit for fall meeting, because you know the deal. We all got enough meetings to go to, and it'd be nice to be able to set a goal, and if we need more time, we need more time. I think that was one of the issues, is when we approached town meeting, the last month, 2 months was so rushed. I don't think we were able to put together everything we need to. on that, or had to really sell it to the public and things like that. Okay. All right, so this was good. Guys, I just wanted to mainly get a feel for folks, just so that we all got a feel for each one a little bit of where our head was at and what we were looking to do. I'm going to, make sure I, let Michael Ray know that we talked about the idea of both the survey and the idea that fall town meeting is what we're shooting for, to have some kind of presentation for that, and that's when the ask would be at fall town meeting. And I think that's a reasonable goal that we should be able to hit on that. Excellent. So I don't think I need a motion or a vote for any of this. This was just a discussion on that. So I will, at this point, move to the next agenda item, if that's okay, which is basically, once again, comments from the board. And then, which I just heard, comments from the board, and then comments from the public. I don't know if Anglican Holy Trinity is somebody that has been listening and wants to speak.
Dave, I don't know if we got the future meeting schedule. I had that as after new business was.
Yeah, I know,
future meeting schedule.
that's the toughest part, because we don't have Michael Ray here, so I don't know his schedule.
So I'm pretty sure we decided that we were going to do the off meetings from planning board. So like planning board is the second and fourth Monday. We were going to do the first and third Mondays.
Okay, Monday's better for me.
I think that Michael Ray said that worked for him.
I think it would be good to pencil in at least the next meeting.
Yeah.
Do we want to try maybe a 6 o'clock start time to see if that's
That's
better?
fine.
Yeah, 6 o'clock could work. And I figured it's yourself and Brian who have the little ones. For me, it's not, I'm all set.
6 o'clock is perfect because my little one goes down at 6. So
Okay,
I'd have one less one.
all right.
I would make a motion that we change the start time, meeting times from 5:30 to 6 o'clock on the first and third Mondays.
Excellent. Okay,
I'll second that.
all right. Roll call vote. I'll go with Brian,
Aye.
Christina.
Hi.
Okay, Matt,
Aye.
Greg.
Aye.
Aye for me, so 6 o'clock it is. And then as far as the date, I wouldn't think that the 21st that we would need to, or I'm looking at it as it would probably be the 7th of March.
That's a month away.
Would we want to meet on the 21st just to appoint or just have, I know he's a point, or just to have everyone touch base, really, even if it's a quick meeting?
Why don't we just schedule, like we just made the motion, first and third Mondays, 6 o'clock, and let's just, my opinion would be just to schedule, pencil those in, and even if
Just
it's
to throw it out there too, the 21st of February is a holiday. I don't know if it's an official, like it's President's Day, so I don't know if we can have a meeting on that day or not.
I don't think we can.
Oh, it is a state holiday, I think.
That's a great point. I don't think we can hold a meeting on that date.
All right, so let's go with the 7th for the next one, and then setting the schedule for it has to be first and third.
And if Michael Ray wants to plan one before that, he can contact him.
Right.
I'm fine with that.
Okay, excellent. All right, now am I up to that point with comments, Brian?
That works for me.
All right, comments from the crowd, for the committee. Oh, okay, and I'm sorry, gentlemen from the Anglican Holy, I know you popped on when I said the first time, but I apologize. If you'd like to say anything, please. If not, don't worry about it.
If you don't mind, I'd just like to apologize. I set up a new account for my church today. I'm Steve Walker. I'm the chair of Public Access Cable Committee.
Oh,
But when it came up with my new church account. So I am
Okay.
Steve. Hi.
hey, Steve. No, we hadn't seen you in a while, so I didn't recognize the face, so that's okay. All right, excellent.
Hey, Steve, thanks for all you do.
Yes, appreciate it. So Steve, quick question on that then, if we can ask. When you talked, you did have some funding And, the way we just talked about the space, is it the space or the build out of the space, that's most important for you?
We've been waiting actually since I've been involved, which was 2014, to build out a new studio. We have a temporary studio and we can't invest in proper setup for lighting and cabling, all sorts of things, in particular because of lead paint and asbestos. So we can't even drill a hole in the wall. When we worked with one of our suppliers and did the best we could, as Greg and you may well remember, 2,700 square feet is what we were looking for and still are. We still don't know how to do this properly. We have money to do the proper fit out of the space. We don't have money to go and buy space.
Okay, so if the idea was that the space was a solid roof, you didn't worry about leaks, no asbestos on it, and no lead paint, then you're able to move forward.
We would be, but it would be roughly 3 classrooms if it's TC Passios.
Understandable. So it's more for just understanding your needs, what you would like, and what we can do as we're looking at, as we're looking at the whole picture. Since we had you on the phone, since we had you here, I figured it was easier than having you join the next 5 meetings at the same time. So.
Nothing new from the previous meeting. So, but thank you for asking.
Okay, excellent. Well, no, I think the previous meeting we were building out a space. We were putting up walls, we were putting up everything else. We were basically redesigning the whole 3 classrooms for you.
Yeah, but within the footprint of the classrooms.
Right. But
It
this was all
in
new
the
wall.
footprint of 3 classrooms. So, yeah.
Right. But what the idea was is when we had the plans, it was not just the 3, it was almost like a fresh slate, rip the walls down and put up new walls. So I'd be looking at trying to, okay, excellent. All right, perfect. I thank you. I thank you for joining. Thank you for your work with the town. Okay.
Thank you. You're welcome.
Yeah, Matt.
A follow-on comment on that. So currently, you're occupying 3 classroom buildings in the TC Passios, correct?
No, currently we have 1 classroom, which is the studio and our office space and our editing space. That's all we have, plus a 100 square foot control room at the town hall.
So you're currently operating in 1 classroom?
Yeah.
And what he said was that they can't fit that space out because of the lead paint. So if the TC Passios was abated, they could make it a more permanent space in what they've got and give them another classroom, give them 2 more classrooms. What the food pantry is there already, is it not? In the
Yeah,
back?
I mean, we would be creative and try and make it work if it is permanent space. Our problem is, ever since I've been involved, it's been temporary space.
Right.
Once we start investing, contractors putting up overhead pipe work to hang microphones, lights, drapes, you name it, soundproofing, a whole bunch of stuff that has to be done. We can't use our money to do that if it's temporary space. However, if the master plan says we do everything to abate asbestos, lead paint, and anything else, so we can and have a common sense promise that it's permanent, then we would find a way of working forward. Amongst other things, we would want to cut a couple of doors through between the classrooms that are not the main corridor of the building, so that we have space that's securable. Does that make sense to you?
Yes.
Certainly,
Yes.
what you could also do if there was no lead paint. Right.
Okay. Excellent. All right. Thanks. Any other questions from the board? Well, we have Steve on. All right. Excellent. Appreciate you joining and appreciate your comments. Okay. So my next agenda item, then, Brian. Is do I entertain?
I'll make a motion to adjourn at 6:35 p.m.
Okay.
I'll second that. Yeah. Mac-
Okay, do a roll call vote. Christina?
Aye.
Okay, Matt,
Aye.
Brian,
Aye.
Greg,
Aye.
and I guess I'll do an aye for me, even if I say no, it's still gonna pass. Guys, thanks very much.
Thanks, Dave.
We'll look to talk to you on the 7th, or maybe even before. We'll let you know what Brian comes up with.
Thank you, everyone.
All right, thanks again, guys.
Thanks a lot, everybody.
Greg, can you turn off the recording?
Yes, I will. Thank you.
Excellent. All right, thanks, guys. Take care. Have a great evening.